What is up, guys? Welcome back to Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another good and bad video for today. This one we're going to be doing the good and bad of Abraham Ford from The Walking Dead.
We've silenced the whispers.
Okay, guys, so this is going to be doing another good and bad video for today. This one's going to be doing the good and bad of Abraham Ford from The Walking Dead. Now, this video I want to say as well, this video I'm very excited to get into because he is one of my all-time favorite characters in, around the time after the prison, of course, all the way up until the Savior storyline. He really is one of the best characters they had in The Walking Dead series, and even is directing episodes now, if you guys didn't know. Michael Cudlitz, the actor that plays Abraham, has directed one episode of Season 9 and 2 episodes of Season 10. So he's very involved with the show even now, and I'm very, very happy to see that because I think Michael Cudlitz is a really, really good actor. Now, now, he's introduced in Season 4, Episode 10, of course, right at the very end, of course, when he meets Tara. And I don't like how they have them stand just like the comic. It just doesn't feel real. That was one of my big gripes with their entrance, but I did like how the three of them kind of showed up, though, still. I think it was really cool. So basically, there's a mission. Of course, we find out through a flashback later on that he lost his family. Of course, they were kind of scared of him to begin with after beating up a bunch of the guys with like a can and stuff. Basically, we have the death of his family. Eugene basically lies, and I have a very important mission. And then, so now Abraham kind of has a purpose. So basically, they're on their way there. He has to try to stop Glenn and say, listen, like, you're probably never going to find Maggie again. And, after a little while, they decide to go help Glenn find Maggie. After a while, they do find each other, of course, and then their mission to go to Terminus first, and then, of course, go to Washington. So a bunch of delays to get to Washington, they just can't seem to get there. It takes them like over a season to literally get to Washington. So, but then, of course, we have Terminus, and they get held up there, of course. Abraham and Rick almost go at it in the church, and, I really, really like kind of how Abraham, he really, protects Eugene, and then after he finds out, of course, and this is the next part we should mention, is that they, of course, take Glenn and Maggie, and they go, and, of course, Rick and the others are not going to go anywhere without Daryl and Carol, who, of course, are looking for Beth at the time, but, they beat the Terminus people, they go, of course, to Washington with Glenn and Maggie and Tara and all that kind of stuff. And basically, sum up, basically, we have Eugene that, says that, he's not a scientist, he lied, and Abraham's purpose. Abraham feels, I guess, at that point, like he has no purpose, which, I really like that scene, and just when he drops to his knees, and then it cuts back to when he lost his family, and he was on his knees. I love that stuff. I think that was so good. And, I don't know, and then Eugene, I have a very important mission. It's a really, really cool episode. Self-Help, Season 5, Episode 5. I love the writing in that one. It's really good. It's a really great Abraham episode, and it was a really, really enjoyable episode, even to go back and watch now. So, now, the next thing, basically, we get to see is that, they go to Washington after Beth in the hospital and all that kind of stuff, and he feels like, okay, maybe I do want to keep going, and, of course, we have, like, a couple-week time skip after the death of Beth, basically, they, eventually make their way to Washington. So, and I really like the scene where Aaron and them are on their way to Alexandria, and Abraham's driving the RV, and he kind of sees the cityscape, and, Rosita and Abraham are both kind of like, holy crap, like, we actually made it to Washington. Like, I don't know, I like that scene, and even funnier, we have Abraham's like, we can make it. We can make it. And then it just cuts to them, like, pulled over on the side of the road. Tell me if you guys remember that. That was hilarious on their way to Alexandria. And he's like, may as well paint it red, put a ladder on it, So, yeah, I love it. I thought it was awesome. So, basically, and I also would like to mention, too, that Glenn, of course, there's a little callback with Dale there where he's like, how do you know those were there? So, anyway, I love that. I love any kind of callbacks to, the early characters, and they did that with Glenn and Abraham in that episode as well. So, basically, they go to Alexandria. Abraham has a bit of a tough time fitting in. I like when, they go to the party and stuff, and Rosita's like, well, they have beer. Like, because, like, at first Abraham's like, I don't know about this, and Rosita's like, well, they have beer, and he's like, I'm gonna try, I don't know, I like that. So, basically, we have kind of a bit of Abraham going through a little bit of PTSD there, it seems like, and then he saves Francine. In the comic, this was actually Holly, but in the TV show, unlike Holly just being a completely background character, more of a background character than even Scott, got, honestly. They have Francine get saved by Abraham in the TV series version. Now, he takes over the construction site, of course, so well-earned after that, that's for sure. Yeah, and of course the one line, which I'm sure you guys remember as well, I won't say it in this video, but yeah, let's just say Abraham has a lot of great lines in this show. I mean, honestly, Abraham, I know that Negan is one for his, one-liners, but honestly, Abraham, yeah, Abraham's another one with a great one-liner. So, basically, we get to see in this finale that, Abraham is not for Rick being kicked out, even after everything that, has gone down. And the next thing we basically get to see is Abraham and Sasha, and the kind of beginning of the two of them. So they lead the herd away, and basically Abraham decides to go with her. I love the part when he just starts going out there and killing zombies, like, just for fun, He even makes a bit of a joke that he still has some of Pete's, brains in his ear, which is kind of funny. And, yeah, anyway, so basically, that's the beginning of Abraham and Sasha, kind of them, and the beginning of them. Of course, gets separated from Daryl in that one episode, always accountable, and, we kind of get to see a little bit of the beginning between the two of them. So, of course, after that, they, of course, get stopped on the road by the first that we ever see of the Saviors and the first mention of Negan. Now, it's really unfortunate, and I really like this. I love how Daryl did it, because he shot the rocket launcher and it kind of came out of nowhere. But I really would have liked it if Abraham would have been able to actually kill those guys, the rocket launcher. I mean, he found them, so I don't know. That's one thing I always kind of think about. But, I love the way they did it, the way Daryl kind of, blew them up and stuff. It's an epic scene even till this day. But I really wish Abraham would have been able to use it, even if it was at another time or something, because then, Negan just takes it, I believe, as well in service, and then we never see it again. So, and that's also kind of something I really don't like, is that went nowhere. Like, Negan's like, man, I'm gonna have some fun with this, and we never saw the rocket launchers again, so I don't know. I find that kind of interesting, but they really could have used those in All Out War, that's for sure. So, okay, now the next thing basically we get to see is Abraham and Sasha, and of course he breaks up with Rosita. They get back to Alexandria after the No Way Out situation, basically, and yeah, we have the breakup. Now, this is a really interesting concept, because, in the comics, it was Holly and Rosita and the kind of the love triangle there. In this version, it's not Francine like I kind of thought it was going to be in season 5. It's actually Sasha, Abraham, and Rosita, So I like that kind of, idea. I know a lot of people didn't like the whole Sasha versus Rosita thing. A lot of people, that was one of their least favorite things to season 7. I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it either, because I like how he dies and then kind of the repercussions of it. I think it's kind of cool, in a way. But Rosita was just being really mean to everybody in season 7. So, I mean, there is that. But basically, Abraham and Sasha, they fully kind of go forward with a relationship, and that is, of course, when we get to see now, one more thing as well. Eugene and Abraham at the bullet shop. That was really awesome as well. You had better luck cleaning up a turd by its clean end, There's another, one-liner right there from Abraham. And, yeah, the truth, plain and honest. You've outlived your usefulness to me. And he's like, is that so? And he's like, back home, my services are no longer required, And he's like, oh, find your own way back, So, I love that. That was great, because honestly, Eugene was being a little too cocky there. So I can actually understand Abraham's perspective on that. So, we have the death of Abraham, the peace sign, even asking Sasha in the RV earlier about maybe having a baby or something, which I found was like really soon for how, how short of a time they were in a relationship for, but whatever, it was a nice moment either way. And yeah, his death, he doesn't go out fighting per se, but he had a really good death. And in my opinion, even though I would like to see the character last longer, I'm still really cool with his death. So yeah, Michael Cudlitz, dude, you do an amazing job as Abraham. If there's ever a slight chance you ever saw this video, you do an amazing job as Abraham. And honestly, I really do miss seeing Abraham in the show. I absolutely do. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're new here, guys, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my Walking Dead videos. Follow Dan's Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.